What's up, guys, and welcome back to Season 4 of the SLI Invitational. We got Sacred going up against T-Show here in the South American region. Game 2, as Game 1 was a really close match, as, Sacred you would expect to just plow through everyone. But no, T-Show gave them a really good run for their money. T-Show can't be feeling great about how that last game went. But we'll see. As Sacred, again, still the favorites. We'll see if they can close it out to 2-0 and maybe accelerate our schedule just a little bit. I'm Mike Loris, going to be your caster for this game and the next match as well. Yes, this is the second match of the day. We did see SG going up against Stars, now Sacred versus T-Show. Next is Infamous versus Pain, so we got some primo SA Dota coming at you guys today. And we'll see what's going to happen in this draft. Night Stalker will be banned out. And honestly, that's pretty good for Sacred. I wasn't really convinced at the whole Tekka carry, Benjaz offlane kind of thing. I feel like just sticking to their guns a little better. And oh, this is sticking to their guns in a big way. This is Sacred bread and butter right here. The Tidehunter is definitely seeing a lot more play nowadays. So, picking him up at all is pretty normal. Picking up first phase, a little bit less common, but this is Sacred going right back into their comfort zone. No role switches, no lane switches, just good old Sacred Dota. That's, I think good old Sacred Dota is Tidehunter Earth Spirit. Is that good old Sacred Dota? Not quite. It's Tidehunter Rubik. Still, they're all green heroes, and we all know OP Frog. Yeah, he's green too. Just saying. Conspiracy confirmed. T-Show grabbing the Omni as the first pick, simply because it's not banned out. Expect perhaps Winter Wyvern. That'll be a lot of healing, though. Wouldn't mind a Witch Doctor. Honestly, just anyone. Get this Omni Knight a little bit of safety. They've already taken down the Razor, who I hate with a burning passion. Don't ask why, because I've already explained it to you guys several times in the past. But he's really good against the Omni Knight. So, like, banning out Razor first phase, then picking an Omni Knight, probably one of the better ways to ensure that your Omni Knight has some sort of decent laning experience. And you never know. Omni Knight going up against Tidehunter should be a pretty decent lane for both those two heroes. So opening up the door for an offensive setup, definitely is the option there. Ancient Apparition is not quite going to be them fully committing to an offensive setup, but is a pretty good start. Those chilling touch hits do land quite a bit of damage. Makes Tidehunter's mechanism potential build a much more sour if he wants to go for that one. I don't expect he will. Typically, Tides, at least Tekka's Tides, usually go for a little more movement speed and initiation over the mechanism as a big first item. If he's going to go for an aura item early, it's going to be the Pipe. But you can see Sacred, they'll take out the Luna. There's heroes that can really combo well with Ancient Apparition to form a really solid offensive lane. Because Omni Knight, again, is going to be an independent enough laner that you don't really need a whole bunch of additional heroes with him to ensure that you have a good game. Now, Rubik is also potentially a pretty good start for an offensive lane for Sacred, but it'll be like a Juggernaut, probably works best with the Rubik. Slark is something you really don't want to be doing as Sacred right now, so yeah, it will be Sacred probably to take a little bit more of a slower approach in the lanes. Just try to, play a little bit slow and steady. They don't want to get cheesed out here. Luna and Huskar gonna get banned out. Interesting to see for sure. Omni Huskar is powerful. It's not quite as good as like an Oracle, I would say. Or a Dazzle, still that's better for Huskar at least.
10 seconds remaining.
But the Weaver will be taken out. T-Show currently have absolutely no disables. So, the Storm Spirit is something that you also have to keep in mind. Although, with that Anti-Mage ban, Sacred should be thinking, how the hell do we deal with a Medusa? The answer might just be, we pick it for ourselves. Medusa is not terrible up against the Omni Knight and the Ancient Apparition. In fact, she is quite decent there.
10 seconds remaining.
If they don't pick it up, T-Show are going to grab it. The best hero they can kind of pick is a Phantom Lancer to try to counteract that proactively. They'll pick their support first in the Shadow Shaman, and T-Show will also grab their Sand King. Great partner to have with the Ancient Apparition. Easy 1-2 disable with the Burrow Strike into the Cold Feet proc. Lots of extra damage there through magic. And Rubik's going to get some pretty serious value. It's looking like Tidehunter's Pipe will be built up first thing.
10 seconds remaining.
But Sacred just getting the Matthew Rubik, Soku Shadow Shaman, will be able to force engagements pretty cleanly. If they're not going to go for Medusa, they could just out-time the Medusa. And by that I mean get someone along the lines of a Terrorblade and start pushing down towers like nobody's business. It's not really the best hero to have against SK, Omni Knight, like these really high burst heroes that can just cut right through your HP without right-clicking you, and that is a concern. But if you get entrenched with the Shadow Shaman wards with a Tidehunter as backup, you force T-Show to act or lose structures. It's pretty much a lose-lose situation unless T-Show are overwhelmingly ahead, have Blink Dagger on the Sand King, and stuff like that. So Sacred may be able to force the engagements in that fashion. However, I do feel like it's going to cost them somewhat in the lanes early on. Shadow Shaman is such a clunky hero. He's great up against Omni Knight. He's great up against T-Show's heroes on a 1v1 basis. But in like a 2v2 or 3v3, Shadow Shaman is just going to fold. Unless he has like a really heavy hitter in the front line with him. Again, you kind of need a hero of the caliber of Juggernaut if you're actually going to get away with that. Is there anyone who purges? That's purge is a really rare effect nowadays. Ursa is not someone who purges, and that's actually a hero that kind of got hit pretty hard by the fact that Diffusal Blade no longer purges. So if you can't really answer an enemy Ghost Scepter anymore. Obviously, it's going to be stuns that are always the bane of Ursa, but hey, you're working with a Rubik, you're working with a Shadow Shaman. That should be enough disables to at least put a decent dent in some of the enemy T-Show heroes. And if you're looking at heroes like Omni Knight, usually Purification just instantly saves him. Up against an Ursa, you still will have those Fury Swipe stacks on you, so yeah, you get healed a little bit, but that next hit, oh man, that hurts a lot. So Sacred do have, Roche taking power, Objective taking power here. The only concern is that their lanes may not be quite good enough. Ancient Apparition, Sand King, get a third semi-aggressive hero there for T-Show, just pick up like a Vengeful Spirit or something like that, and I can definitely see T-Show running away with these lanes early on, and Sacred not having much to do with it. T-Show do not have the last pick, so they may want to consider their mid lane selection here. Usually in this scenario where you're not really sure what's good, what's bad for your mid lane, you just default to the good old mid lane heroes, your Quaps, your Pucks, and stuff like that. Puck would be, both of those heroes are actually pretty good, I guess. I mean, the disables on Sacred are there. They're not going to be completely helpless. We may also see a little bit of a Storm Spirit mixed in. A hero that Leo Style loves to play. In the region in general, I would say overplays Storm Spirit. Not sure if you can necessarily say overplays, but they love the hell out of that hero. Grabbing that for Sacred seems like a great way to really keep the pressure on. Try to just crash in super hard. Yeah, it's going to be a Slark. 7.00 patch. Hex cannot be dispelled. Slark, I mean, we'll make that a really nice offensive lane, just being able to, in the laning stage, Burrow Strike in, pounce in with the cold feet and the chilling touch. Like, that's so much damage. In the later stages of the game, though, you have Sacred with so many good answers to that Slark that he absolutely needs to be able to initiate and get some really good damage onto someone like a Shadow Shaman or Rubik before they have any time to react. Now, the bulk of the reason why they pick up the Slark here is because Slark is one of the heroes that is perhaps the most resistant to Tidehunter Anchor Smash. If you're packed pouncing onto a Tidehunter, you will get rid of that damage debuff, so you can do your full damage through the Anchor Smash. That's still reduced by the Kraken Shell, obviously, but it's better than nothing. But it's still a very problematic hero to have up against someone who has just instant disable. In fact, two heroes that have instant disables in the Shadow Shaman Rubik. Actually, I think Telekinesis has a little bit of cast time. I'm not sure if it's necessarily instant. Hex is literally instant. Telekinesis is very fast. It might have like a 0.1 second cast time or something like that. I'm not actually entirely sure, but it's on the faster side of things. So getting a Blink Dagger, getting a good jump on the Slark is entirely feasible. And when you're talking about heroes like Ursa, levels of damage, like, yeah, those heroes are just going to fold so quickly, regardless of who it is. If it's Slark, fine. If it's Omni Knight, that's good. Obviously, the supports are just bacon. So, yeah. Could be a difficult time for the Slark. That is an Outworld Devourer. Ursa doesn't really have an abundance of int. This is, though, I fear for T-Show, going to make their draft a little bit too slow. They did get the Medusa banned from them. Pretty sure that's what they wanted, hoping that Sacred, I guess, forgot about that hero. I didn't forget about that hero. I'm sure Sacred didn't, because Sacred are smarter than I am. Plus, they're 5 guys, I'm just 1, so there's that as well. The matchup versus OD is not going to be great for that many heroes, but with Shadow Shaman and Rubik, you can expect there to be a little bit of a brawl fest over in that mid lane. I do feel like Sacred can just pick up a little bit of the right clicker and just start applying some really early pressure to the T-Show side as a whole, the side of looking at those lanes. Yeah, that's the hero that I want to see. Matchup-wise versus the OD, it's not really going to be like a, oh, this is going to be a stomp for the Shadow Fiend. But you do have combos with the Rubik and Shadow Shaman being able to set up your triple raise. You will be able to, do okay against the OD in lane, but it really comes in the mid lane. Again, talking about that entrenchment tactic with the cover you get from a Tidehunter. Dude, you better swap out of that, man. Just don't even start with that, Sacred. Don't even play with me like that. I could probably get away with that, but yeah, once you get the Tidehunter in place, once you drop the wards, once you have the Shadow Fiend right-clicking in, you say to T-Show, come at me, bro. If you do, you're gonna get ravaged. You're gonna be fighting into the Serpent wards. And that's never something you really want to be doing. So Sacred are going to try to leverage that as best they can. Are they really not going to give Tekka his Tidehunter? Dude's insane on that hero. So yeah, this is going to be a stall game for T-Show. If they are able to push it towards the late game, then answering an Ursa with an OD just by bubbling him and forgetting about him throughout the entire fight, killing off these really soft supports in the back line. I mean, that is going to be a really solid way of executing the late game tactics for Show.Rising. But it is, of course, going to come down to the lanes. And if they can avoid getting run over in these lanes, I'm not entirely sure if that's a feasible way to go. I mean, you got to worry about some pretty aggressive rotations. Ursa and Shadow Fiend, they are heroes that will really, really go ham in the early stages. And oh, by the way, I set the new winter terrain. So welcome to your winter wonderland, guys. Does this look like the last one? It's just snow. It looks fine to me. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's that different, really. Is there any, like, small details? Everything's just white, man. It's snowing. And that's it. So obviously, Ursa is going to be at a huge disadvantage in this terrain because Bears is supposed to be hibernating right now, but he got woken up and he has to play Dota, so that sucks for him. And they will, in fact, give Tekka the Ursa. Give Matthew that Rubik. Again, pretty standard stuff as far as the supports are concerned. Leo Styles on the mid. Shadow Fiend got Masoku on the Shadow Shaman, so double shadows for Sacred. Got Benjaz on the Tidehunter. On the other end of things, T-Show are going to give Terrence his Slark. Lolling Blue is on a blue hero, so that's kind of cool. The Ancient Apparition. PGT is on the OD. Got Hijack on the Omni Knight. And last but not least, that's 444 on the SK. Should be a pretty easy steal of this high ground rune, as Leo Style really doesn't want to get into engagement. Shadow Fiend level 1 is a dumpster tier hero because he just can't do anything, man. Does he lose in a 1v1 versus AA? I don't think he does. He slightly wins that, but that's not a good place to be as a mid lane hero, where you slightly beat out your mid lane opposition, where you beat out a support in a 1v1 duel. Let's see how many souls he's able to get, how quickly. Always going to be a huge tell about how the lane as a whole is going to be going outside of outward assistance, which definitely is going to be coming here. Sand King does that pretty darn well. Got Benjaz on the run here. Caught all of the creeps. Oh, the creeps are a little bit frosty there. They're a little bit white there. Taking quite a few right clicks from the AA, but that's where Kraken Shell comes in. He is tangoing up. Sand King is going to drag some creeps off to the side as well, but I'm not really sure where they're planning on bringing these creeps. Benjaz is going to take a long way around. He'll get him. He'll get this creep wave eventually. 4v4 is here. Try to get him. Shadow Fiend in the meantime has gotten a handful of souls, so he's doing just fine for himself. There's actually a lot of damage on the Tidehunter. The cost of a single wave of creeps. Dude, that hurt a lot. But yeah, as expected over in the mid lane, it's not going to be a vacuum 1v1. They are going to lift up the Ancient Apparition. A couple of right clicks here just for value damage. The Tidehunter is actually going to be very far behind behind his tier 1. Just last hitting actually pretty decently considering a tier 2 tower's worth of damage. But over in this mid lane, there's no huge combos here. I guess Cold Feet into an Imprison is somewhat of a combo, but it is going to be, for the most part, the Radiant side. Just the Ancient Apparition here trying to protect PTT. A lift up into just 2 raises, like that does such a disgusting amount of damage. Unless 4-4 comes in, that means they could actually make a play here. Lift up onto the Sand King, will keep him out, and will keep the other 2 out. But the Burrow Strike still lands onto Matthew, and he's going to be your first blood. I didn't even see the OD attack. What the hell? I did not see any animation there whatsoever. I don't know how that worked. but he got him. That's first blood for T-Show. I've been very impressed with T-Show's rotations in this series so far, so you know, Sand King is definitely a hero that you can make a lot of plays with. Going into much softer support heroes onto the other end, Shadow Shaman, as well as that Rubik. They do have to worry about this top lane slightly. The Omni Knight shouldn't really be getting a ton here. Got 3 CS so far, but if he gets hit with a Shackles or a Hex, then Ursa is just going to cut loose, and as tanky as the Omni Knight is, it's not really going to be super safe for him. Does have D-Gen aura right now, so you know, might be able to do something, but gets lifted up first thing into the Shackles. There is no overpower just yet. Actually, it was already used. They do have the Hex, but it goes on to 4 for 4 instead. Burrow Strike lands onto the Ursa. Looks like 2 purifications have already been used. 4 for 4 will take 2 heroes worth of chip damage. But Masoku now taking quite a bit of damage himself as another hero comes in. It's going to be that AA. The damage reduction for the Fade Bolt. Going to get them the kill into 4-4-4. Chili Fingers now comes out. Lolling Blue still sneaks the last right click, although that wasn't even necessary. Tekka gets purified. And his regen is really lacking right now. He does have a salve walking out to him on the Courier, perhaps on the Rubik, on the Shadow Shaman instead. A little bit of a brawl fest up in that top lane, and the Omni Knight is going to be durable enough to escape. Again, only level 2 Ursa. Not that threatening, his overpower is still a pretty low level. Land those 3 hits with Fury Swipes, it's a decent amount of damage, but Rubik and Shadow Shaman, they are not damage dealers. They are just pure setup for the Ursa. If he's not able to do the damage, then no one really will. What's going on in this bottom lane? Benjez is actually doing a pretty darn good job. Again, this is a pretty good matchup as far as versus Tidehunter matchups are concerned for the Slark. Like, he is able to, more so than most other heroes, mitigate the impacts of that Anchor Smash simply because he can pack it off and do quite a bit of extra damage to Benjez, then vice versa. You can see right now he's going to pack it right off, pounce. If that landed, that would have been pretty good, but, you know, it didn't. Guys, let me know if this, oh, shit, missed the just making sure the chat is fine. XD. Okay, well, let me know if the winter whatever terrain thing is not good. I'll change it back. I think I can change it back here. I'm not exactly sure where that is. Oh, Matthew, you do not want to be there, my friend. Burrow Strike, Cold Feet combo. Can telekinesis. The Sand King still gets frozen, though. Purified to death before Masoku can really help out. Now Masoku caught with the D-Gen aura. He is going to fall as well. Maybe to the neutrals. He's trying to go for the neutrals. Burrow Strike and the hammer blow from the Omni Knight. Right on the skull. Are those only supports to die? No, that was Shadow Fiend to die in the mid lane. Leo Style is going to take a spill there. Is neck and neck with the OD, so a pretty darn even lane going in towards mid. But these supports on the Sacred side doing pretty much nothing compared to the supports of T-Show, which has been all over the place. Are maybe looking to set up on Hijack, but I don't think... Oh, they actually have a decent angle here. They can lift him up, but Shadow Shaman's a little bit too far. Can't quite go for that next. Now the phase boots are up on the Ursa. They may be able to make something happen, but it's going to happen first over in the mid lane. Banishment into Burrow Strike into Cold Feet. You are super dead, my friend. Lolling Blue, my god, he took 4 of the 6 kills he's been involved in. So yeah, he's been killing people left, right, and center. Ancient Apparition is a hero that if you do get these extra kills, you know, you may not always do this, but you may feel inclined to go for that Hand of Midas. Getting a faster level 6, just being involved, is really, really nice for an AA as well. And at the very least, they killed off Shadow Fiend now twice. So that already is a pretty huge lead. However, the OD is going to get hit with 1 raise and 2 raises. Did not expect Matthew to be over here. I don't think this Obs spotted his rotation in. I'm pretty sure he was like back here and then just, well, exactly this pathing. So pretty sure just didn't see that one coming. Benjez is going to find himself up against 2 heroes now. Kraken Shell is going to mean that he is a tough nut to crack.
I'll take that.
No pun intended. Get it? It's Kraken Shell. Is this mic on? Tough crowd, tough crowd. 1 raise, and PTT once again is gonna have to run the gauntlet of raises as Matthew again, just with Leo Style as the bait. Hook, line, and sinker. They set up for 2 consecutive kills on OD. There's all the souls for the Shadow Fiend, and he is going to see Hijack is in the area with the double damage rune. And yeah, that is a threatening hero and all, but not when he's just by himself running at you. Like, what the hell can he actually do against this SF? With a double damage rune, maybe something, but, oh, maybe with a Courier. Oh, shield. Shield, okay. Alright, Leo Style, you got to get to the shrine, because you're going to die without it. Tidehunter is coming in. They can land 1 raise. Benjez is here, so he does have a nice little stun in that Ravage if they actually ever found Hijack, but he is just going to zip out of there. They can cut him off. They definitely have the heroes to do that if they were in position. They're not. There's no Earthshock either. Is Hijack really just going to walk out of here? Oh my god, he just walked out of there. The madman. Deep behind enemy lines? No backup? No problem. Just walk on out. Oh, now here comes the backup for realsies. The Benjaz does have the Ravage, but he's going to get put under. Trying to focus onto Matthew. First of all, stun goes off onto 3 heroes, and now the Ravage comes out onto 2. There goes the Sand King, and now the Ursa can start letting loose onto the Omninet, though. PTT still does a lot of damage, though. Masoku is going to find an angle in order to get that full channel of the Shackle. Here comes the Fury Swipe. Purification going to keep PTT alive for a little while longer, but with the Anchor Smash sticking on him, he's not doing all that much damage. Fade Bolt is still here, and the phase on the Ursa is going to be that he's plowing forward. Looking for an angle onto PTT. They do catch him with the lift up. Burst Strike through is a little bit late. That's just going to kill off the Sand King because he overcommitted, giving Tekka a double kill. And that is going to be Sacred collecting huge bounties here. Hijack may grab the bounty rune here. Luckily for him, Masoku is slow as ass and is going to still be able to shackle, but Tide is going to leave. So he's like, good luck, bro. You're on your own, buddy. And Masoku's like, you bastard. You betrayed me. Tekka, in the meantime, is like, I'll help you. Unfortunately, Degen Aura is going to try to get in there. Maybe one day he could land one hit. There you go. Yeah, got him. That was a good use of Ursa ult right there. What's happening over in this mid lane? Looks like PTT almost got set up again with those Raze combos, but was able to slip away this time. At the end of the day, it is going to be a lot of heroes chasing after an OD. Lets the Slark kill off the tower on the bottom lane. He's going to gun straight for Shadowblade as expected. Being able to get that Silver Edge is going to be a really nice power play for this Slark moving forward. Overall, though, the Dire side halfway because of that little bit of foolish dive into the Tidehunter, and halfway just because of mechanically being, I would say, just a little bit above the T-Show side without outside interference, are going to have a little bit of a lead here. It's not really by much. Can very easily change if the Ursa gets jacked up like this. Does have his ultimate for some damage reduction. Going to turn around, try to go for 4-4-4, but there's no true side here. Leo stop those arrays. Not quite enough damage. Hijack's going to repel himself and just charge right in. I'm not really sure if that's the play. He's not going to get punished by this. As the Shadow Shaman is coming in, we'll find Lolling Blue. Hex is there for Masoku. He's going to get rid of the Cold Feet first. And I actually thought this was... I didn't realize that was an Omni Knight. I thought that was... someone from Sacred. Matthew's going to come from the side. I thought it was the Omni Knight coming in with the Rubik. Rubik's going to grab Repel, and he will block the Purification with it. That was kind of cool. Everyone else, though, really afraid of coming in. The Ursa is going to straight rush Basher. That is a serious Smork item. I mean, you got the Mask of Madness first, so I guess it's not a rush. Really just trying to lay it in. Relying on his allies to start the fights for him. Not too unreasonable considering they have a Ravage, considering they have a Rubik, and a Shadow Shaman, but still, to go for these pure damage items before going for an initiation item, that is a bold move. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him. Slark. Oh, he's playing some games in this bottom lane. Very weak. Got pretty much jacked up all these neutrals. Luckily for him, he has Shadow Dance, which is pretty good, I hear, at regenerating health. Omni Knight still chilling on top lane. Masoku is here, and he is very diveable. Especially if 4-4 sees the courier, so he knows that there's someone here. No Hex in time for the Burrow Strike. Purification is there. Now the Repel on the Sand King. Masoku's going to have to juke the hell out of this one. He is going to get the Shackle off onto the Sand King and will actually survive. With the shock, will die to the Cold Feet eventually, which kind of sucks for him. Mega kill for Lolling Blue. Are you serious right now? They will ravage the Omni Knight. I do think that's worth it. With the Raze, they'll get the kill. But they are unable to get the most valuable hero, the Ancient Apparition. I'll take things that are never said in a Dota 2 cast for $1,000, Alex. Dude has gotten 5 kills, and he's like never even been close to dying. Okay, Tekka though is gonna get jacked up. He doesn't even have the Shadow Blade yet. He just walked into a Slark and died. What the hell? I am not a fan of this whole Tekka carry Benjaz offlane thing. Like, I mean, that kill aside, I feel like, again, they should just go back to what it was before. Matthew is going to get Shadow Bladed in on. He does have the Purification level 3, so that's a pretty decent chunk of damage and heal here for this Rubik. Leo Style just going to go for mass movement speed. Pretty standard stuff nowadays for Shadow Fiend to get the drums first. Not really sure if travels right afterwards is necessarily standard, but they are ready to go for a fight. They have 1 point Gush, that's it versus PTT. Masoku is going to be able to land the Hex, though, and drop the Serpent Wards. And with the Shackle, it's not quite going to be enough, but he's actually walled in. He'll try to imprison himself, but he'll wake up into a raise. Here comes the Ice Blast. Requiem as well. PTT is going to survive thanks to the Omnia, but Omnia's taking a lot of damage himself. Terran's going to jump right in with a Shadow Dance, but he'll have to dance himself right out of there. That's going to be a quick 2 kill, including the kill on Lolling Blue. The Ancient Apparition got mixed up in the wrong neighborhood. Terrence is going to think about going in here. Does have to be pretty careful. A quick Hex, again, is not dispellable. He does not have his Shadow Dance any longer. Serpent Wards are unfortunately a little bit too far away from pushing this tower, but it doesn't look like Sacred can really get that much done here. They're just buying space, though. Ursa be chilling in the Roche Pit. Hopefully he doesn't die here, and I think that lifesteal should probably mean he's okay. That's an Aegis for the Ursa, and a truckload of cash for the allies as well. Benjaz, though, is going to get Bro Struck up as Terrence is going to look for a snipe on these supports in the background. Is going to be able to grab Masoku. Hex does come up again, not purgeable. Masoku now be able to land the Shackle, but it does get repelled off. Benjaz does not have a Ravage right now. Still lots of damage to the Omnite, won't be enough to get the kill, as the Ursa and the Shadow Fiend are elsewhere. Really nowhere nearby. Tekka's kind of nearby with the Aegis, and he has no backup. Tekka is going to have to fight his way out of this. He's just dead. Matthew's like, I'm trying to help, bro. I really can't. He's going to cold feed himself, try to burst down Hijack, gets frozen in place, and now here comes the Epicenter versus the Ursa. Doesn't have an ultimate now, gets Bro Struck and Ice Blasted, and he's just dead. In the backline, Terrence is able to Shadow Dance away from this Shadow Fiend. And Matthew, well, he's not going to get jacked up by this Slark. Not going to make a turnaround just yet, but he's going to get banished. Not quite going to kill him. We'll have a Purification here as Benez is going to arrive with the Ravage. Gets Bro Struck first thing. Matthew will fall to a Stray Orb. And Masoku now pushing forward, looking for a Hex on whoever he could find. Those little Vortexes, though, slowing them down by quite a bit. And ultimately, the score is tied. This game, much like the last, is just going to be an absolute clown fiesta. And this is why we watch SA Dota, guys, because of games like this. I can't help but feel that the Ursa was making a little more of an impact with a non-Basher buildup, but who knows. They go in here, they're going to have to battle up against a Ravage. They know about it, Serpent Wards, they didn't want to drop them, but they'll have to in order to secure this tower. And they will get that objective, and we'll be able to back off safely. Or smoke up. There is no Radiant Vision here, so the Dire pretty well hidden. There's Radiant Detection, that's not helpful. But Benez goes the separate way. Ravage, they really want to use it right now. They really don't want to lose the Titan to a Slark, but that might just happen here. The damage on Slark, pretty substantial. Up against the Hood, though. And he'll get Anchor Smashed after the Pact, so loses a lot of damage there. Doesn't cost him really anything, though. I mean, he had an Arcane Rune. Oh, Benez thinking about going for that creep wave. Decides against, and that will save his life, actually. Leo Style going to go for that pure burst setup. Not a terrible way to go in this game. I feel like that can... It's hit pretty hard by Repel on the Omnia, obviously, but still it's a lot of damage. Soku's going to teleport in really far behind this tier 1. Matthew is here. Benjez is arriving. 4for4, though, has an Epicenter. Matthew and Masoku have a pretty good angle on PTT, but they're a little bit slow in the incoming, and they're going to wander into one too many heroes. Rubik is going to get dropped before he can use that Burrow Strike. Now the Imprison onto Benjez. Keep him out of the fight, so they once again feed away another of their supports. Not really the biggest deal in the world. Again, these supports are rather expendable. They already have the levels they need. Tekka, though, is not expendable. He will be able to get out, it looks like. Yes, he will. Just barely before that Burrow Strike can land. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not liking this winter thing. I think I'm going to turn it off for the next game, if I remember. PGT, one raise. Ravage, we'll set up for the second raise. Ravage for the OD. That is going to be pretty darn costly, but I think it might be worth it. And Sacred definitely do need to get this base kit of items up. Get this pipe on the Tidehunter. Unfortunately, Ursa was not involved there, so he's still a little bit far away from his Blink Dagger. Yeah, I feel like this is this winter terrain
Dire's
is
top tower
making it a little
is
bit
under
more
attack.
difficult to see like the little details happening around the map, because like everything kind of blends in a little more as opposed to like bright colors on a dark map. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but I don't like it.
Radiant's bottom
Oh,
tower
Leo
is
Style
under
is going to
attack.
try to drum into the trees. Pounce is not used yet. They have Pounce and it's going to miss. Burrow Strike is available. Leo Style is going to try to raise away 4-4 and actually just juke straight around. That was pretty sweet. Not going to lie. That movement was pretty sick. Now can Omni Knight do the same thing? Can Matthew do the same thing? Because he is flirting with death over here. Is going to steal... Oh, he stole Ice Blast. And Masoku can't quite X the Omni Knight. Was he repelled?
Radiant's bottom
It
tower
might have been
is
repelled. I
under
don't know.
attack.
Ice
Dire's
Blast,
middle
though.
tower is under
Ice
attack.
Blast stolen. Not only is that just a nut spell to have, period, he's up against Omni Knight and Slark. They absolutely have to kill off Matthew right now. Otherwise, this Ice Blast is just going to destroy them, no questions asked. This is such a big threat right now.
Fortunes change.
Benja does have his pipe. Can get a little more mobility with that Force Staff. Speaking of mobility, we have the Blink Dagger on this SF. 490 movement speed without even that little 15 being up yet. Guy's going to be zoomerating all over the place. Dude, Matthew is like actually the most powerful hero right now for Sacred. Him and Benches. Everyone else, they don't matter, man. Just land that Ice Blast and you got yourself a stew.
Radiant
Maybe I should stop saying that. I'm sure there's like a couple people who understand that reference and everyone else is like, what the hell are you talking about, Mike? Shadow Fiend's gonna drum in one more time. Unfortunately, SK is just a little bit too quick. He doesn't have his Blink Dagger yet, but it is coming up around the same time as the Ursas. They're going to get entrenched, though. No Serpent Wards are here. No Ravage is here yet, but well, I don't think they know that. Benjaz, Leo Style, both going to get hit with the Ice, but with the Pipe Insight Aura, they will take very little damage from this. The Ice now no longer going to shatter anybody. Bottom lane's being pushed by the Slark, and they did see him there for a little while, so... And now the entrenchment really fully comes into play. Here it is. It's saying, come at me, bro. Fight us, or just lose your tower. Not really sure what's going on here. Leo Style actually backed off, which means the entrenchment is kind of a bluff at that point because they don't have their heavy hitter. Now the Shadow Shaman in a little bit of trouble. They do Ravage, hits onto 2, maybe able to kill off the Sand King, maybe, but the freeze goes onto the Shadow Shaman, and Benyas is the only one here. What are they doing? Leo Style is just gone. Benjaz is all alone now, and he's also gonna fall. That was such a huge bluff called by Sacred. Dude, if you're gonna do that, you absolutely have to have an Ursa or a Shadow Fiend there for the inevitable fight. If it's just 2 heroes, it's just 2 heroes. It's like, oh, do we want to kill the Shadow Shaman and Tidehunter? Yeah, I think we do. That's probably a good idea. Really odd call for Sacred to stay there with some heroes and then leave with others. It's either you stay with everyone or you leave with everyone. Like, there's no middle ground there. Trying to greed out a little bit too much and they get sufficiently punished. What does Slark have? Went for Hand of Midas after the Shadow Blade. Now has that full Silver Edge. And Tekka is all alone in the middle of nowhere. He's going to try to fight the Slark, but the Purification is there with the Repel. He's instead going to try to TP out, but he's going to Shatter. Oh my god, what is going on in this game? I don't know, maybe it's like something after the summit. They're like, guys, this isn't working, we need to switch something up. This is not the Sacred that I knew just a couple weeks ago. They're making like... You're over here, right? Your closest ally is over here. You're up against an AA. You're up against pure damage on the Omni Knight. Like, you can't really just do that. You can't do that, man. I don't know, guys. I have no freaking clue. I mean, this is great for T-Show. Like, you're going up against Sacred. They're switching their hero assignments. They're going for these not quite fully standard Sacred heroes in the Ursa. And you're just taking their benefits. I mean, if I was T-Show right now, I'd be freaking ecstatic that this is happening. I'm like, hey, these guys are giving us the game. How nice of them. They're even going to push towards the late game. One Hand of Midas up on the Slark, second one being built up on the Omni Knight. Surprised to see no thought about that for the OD. Maybe that's a little bit too greedy. Sacred are still itemizing for a pretty early phase in this game. Blink Dagger, Mask of Madness going into S and Y. This isn't really like a real carry Ursa build with that Mask of Madness S and Y. This is an early game item build for the Ursa. I mean, Ursa's not really like a late game hero anyway, so you don't really want to be thinking about him in that context as, you know, a goal. But still, man, like, we've seen him involved in like 0 fights. He picked up his Blink Dagger. Has he fought anyone yet with the team? Like, he got jacked up over here. He just died. He got jacked up over here when he had the Aegis. He has Blink Dagger, which is such a good item on Ursa, but he hasn't used Blink Dagger, which is such a good item on Ursa. So it's essentially like he has 2,000 less net worth. He just hasn't found an opportunity to use it, or his team isn't enabling him, or something's going wrong. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Is under attack.
It's like SF. They group up with Benjaz over in the mid lane. They are going to look for the Sand King, but quick blink out before the Yule Scepter can apply that Cyclone, and he'll be just fine to escape. They are looking to close the map a little bit on this bottom side. Serpent Ward's just 4 seconds off. It's only level 1, but you know what? Should still be enough to kill off a tower. Shadow Fiend, 533 movement speed. Oh man, this dude's so fast. Here comes the ice. They will all dodge it, in fact. Looks like this is going to be a little bit of a race, though, for the tier 2s. 4/4 is in a position where he can initiate if he chooses to do so, though he is scanned, so they know that someone's there. And they can assume it's going to be that Sand King. Like, who else is it going to be? Tower will be claimed on bottom side. Tekka will defend the top side, but will he actually survive to tell the tale? He is going to dodge the pounce and can blink forward in just a handful of seconds. Terrence is here. We'll just Shadow Dance TP out. He's fine. So the tower trade will be won by Sacred, and I guess that's kind of nice, but I don't know. I mean, with the Shadow Shaman, you kind of like are banking on winning those towers. You kind of hope to lose, to get those towers without losing really anything in exchange, because you go and push so quickly. Maybe once he gets level 2 Serpent Wards, he'll have it. Actually gone for the drums. Like, they're really looking to chase. Is their Force Staff not built on the Tide? Just gonna go for Blink Dagger instead. I don't mind that. There's not a ton of random AoE stuff that can disable that. Ice Blast is like the big one that can randomly hit you and ruin your Ravage, but Sand King to a lesser extent, but I feel like Blink Dagger is just slightly better than Force here. Like, Force otherwise, I guess, it gets you out of degen aura. That's not really a huge threat. At least not a threat that's worth itemizing for. Dude, Tekka just wants to farm, man. He just wants his S and Y so badly. They're getting all this movement speed, like drums and stuff. Obviously, SF has 1,000,000 movement speed, and he's looking to pound someone in with the Requiem, I think. It's not a level 3 Requiem, but that's what he's camping here for. He's going to blow up a creep wave. In the meantime, Roche is going to be spotted out. They are not going to get any lifesteal from this until that Ice Blast wears out. They know that they're spotted, and they're still going to go for this. Benjaz is here with the pipe available, and Tekka, well, he was able to still land those Fury Swipes, so lifesteal is going to be coming at a certain point. 4/4, he is ready to make this jump in. We remember last time what happened when Sacred tried to do this. They're going to isolate someone on the high ground, but 4/4 is going to grab the Aegis. They do blow up the Omnite first thing, and he's down without a fuss. And 4/4 as well will lose that first life. So maybe this is going to go pretty well for Sacred after all. Sand King is going to respawn, unable to blink out. Does grab the cheese as well, though. 4/4, who is this man? He's not going to get a chance to use the cheese, and he will go down, but Sacred just trying to rush down objectives without doing their due diligence. And they do pop the Omni Knight on the high ground, I think instantly with that Requiem, so that's like what the build is really best at. But Matthew, he is going to get jacked up pretty hard here. Purify and Shadow Dance, you gotta run, dude. Not fast enough. I lose the Rubik, but man, the Sand King, I think steals it. Yeah, steals the Aegis, so it's the Dire taking the Roshan kill. But they don't get anything from it, except for that golden experience. Masoku, oh, don't get bubbled there. Pop a drum charge, too late. Now caught with the banishment. There is a Yule Scepter here on the Shadow Fiend, and a Ravage coming in as well, but there is no Requiem. They're going to try to right-click down PTU. Doesn't hit with the GA. Here comes Terrence, though, from the backside. The SF's going to save himself for a couple seconds. Benya looking to get the kill with the Anchor Smash, but just fails up against that Purification of the Omni Knight. Benjaz is going to fall. And again, where the hell is Tekka? What the hell is this guy doing this entire game? He's not here. He's not playing the game. They will use the Ravage to get absolutely nothing, and T-Show will get a huge break. Which probably shouldn't have happened, because Sacred, like, shouldn't have been in there in the first place. I am not impressed at all with this Ursa team communication. Like, it's not really the Ursa's fault, per se. It's like halfway the Ursa's fault and halfway the team's fault for not, like, telling Ursa what the hell they're doing. But, like, come on, guys. You have an Ursa who has net worth, and you're just refusing to do anything about it. Oh, TP in from the OD as well as the AA. Yule Scepter, gotta run, dude. He has a Blink Dagger in a couple seconds. Terrence is gonna look to cut him off. Blink forward, but the Shadow Blade on the Slark still giving him a lot of movement speed. Able to pounce through the trees, perhaps? Maybe that's a little bit too far to go blind. He just will escape. UK lead now for T-Show. I don't even know if I like SNY here. Is that better than BKB? I'm pretty sure it's just not. Like, if you get hit with an Imprison or Epicenter Burrow Strike, like, you kind of need that BKB, I think, just to make sure you don't get imprisoned. Enrage doesn't interact with Imprison. Like, if you exit, I guess, like, you can get rid of something, but not really imprisoned. And now Leo Style is going to pop BKB, misses his first raise, lands the second one onto Terrence, gets chilled, though, as the Ice Blast flies overhead. Now winding up the Requiem will do some damage. Soku is just pushing in the meantime, but I'm not sure if he can actually escape this. No, he's dead also. Here comes the Epicenter. Masoku is just going to get ground to bits. I am thoroughly confused, guys. I have no idea. I have no idea what's happening. I have no idea. Trying to out late game a Slark OD. If you get an Abyssal Blade, that will be good. They have a Blink Dagger, they have Ravage, they have a level 3 Requiem, and Shadow Fiend is getting a lot of levels up here. What if you get 3 damage for soul or cooldown reduction? Seems like they may need that cooldown reduction consistency. With this build on Shadow Fiend, like, you're going all in onto that one-off Requiem combo. If you don't get someone with that, you're just completely boned. Maybe you get the souls, maybe, at that point to do more damage, but you're not ever going to be able to fight a Slark, or an OD for that matter. Here comes Terrence. He's going to be able to jump onto the Tidehunter. Light barrier is up. They do Ravage onto 2. Now here comes the Ursa. Imprison is going to save the Omni for a split second. However, is it going to be enough? He will go down at the end, but at the cost of that Tidehunter. Now the Ursa is isolated and dropped. Looking for more. They'll find Matthew. And off to the side, BKB on the Shadow Fiend is going to do nothing but help him escape. Masoku does not have a BKB, and therefore he is not going to escape. And Sacred, yeah, they will just get cleaned up. This is, again, so weird for me to see. I've seen Sacred play insanely well, and now I'm seeing them play insanely terribly. It's so weird. Like, how can a team do this huge 180 swing like this? They should turn 360 degrees and go back to the way they were. Yes. There's gonna be one person in there who thinks I'm being serious. And like, NA degrees, lol. Hey, look at this. He's gonna go for a good item. BKB after a Yasha. Again, Sacred, like, you're up against an Omni Knight and an OD. You gotta crash in really hard. Having slow and steady, consistent chasing with SNY, like, that's just not gonna cut it. Ooh, is this a kill, though? I don't actually know how much a full strength Requiem of Souls does. I assume, though, it's gonna be quite a bit. Oh, he misses it, though. Can he right-click the Omni-Knight to death, or at least force out a GA? He forces out the GA. And in the meantime, Benjez gets killed off somewhere else. So the Omni-Knight is out of the picture, I guess. But over in mid lane, it's only Matthew and Masoku. Leostyle is going to return. Stolen Burrow Strike. Will get the kill onto Slark. No, he cheeses up. And into the Shadow Dance he goes. He's going to slay Masoku first thing. And then try to pounce out of there. He fails the pounce, though. Tekka gets a first hit bash. Burrow Strike's going to come in, give Terrence a little bit more backup. Shadow Blade down to the south once again. Tekka, he does have enough True Sight. Maybe with the Shadow Fiend's help to get the kill onto the Sand King. Now looking for that OD. Freeze, though, goes onto the SF as the OD imprisons himself. I think that was not the play. Leo Styles going to BKB. Lands one raise. Another imprison goes off, and once again, he is down under. The Ursa does have the gem. Gonna get another first hit bash onto the Slark. Up on the high ground, it's PTT. And the 3 remaining for Sacred will fall back. Man, Tekka's getting some pretty sick luck with those bashes. Unfortunately for Leo Style, though, it did look like he was just a little bit off of the complete center of that Yules. Looked like he was a little bit too far to the south, just like by a hair. I don't know if it would have mattered. It's hard to tell. But again, he's like so reliant on getting that one-off insta-kill combo. He's going to go for even more nuking. See, I mean, that's great and all in most games, but you're up against an Omni-Knight, Slark, and OD, who can all just say, nope, not going to happen. So, yeah, I've seen him go for this build before. It was okay, I guess. You just want to see Tekka start stepping things up and actually joining the game. He's going to get Burrow Struck and Ice Blasted. And he will enrage and try to turn and fight, but he's not getting any life steal because of that Ice Blast. Here comes the imprisonment for Matthew. Going to get his Ursa a couple seconds of extra time to live and blink out, actually. Masoku, in the meantime, will catch the Sand King, failing the retreat. And he is probably going to go down here. Does have a Burrow Strike out and a Yule Scepter. Can he actually make an escape here? No, he lands right into the big fat anchor, but off to the side, it's Leo Style being chased out by Terrence. Has a pounce in just 2 seconds. Has backup here in Tekka. Not that healthy, though, is this Ursa. Again, not having access to Aegis Cheese. Oh, Benja's going to jump forward. Sees a couple. Ravage only going to land until 1, though. They better get this kill. They will do so with the Fable before the Imprisonment can come in. Now looking for a little more. Yule Scepter will catch the Ancient Apparition. 1 raise. 2nd raise. Nope, it's an Ursa out of nowhere with a chair. Going to get them 3 kills and shrink that lead of T-Show by just a little bit. You know, guys, the winner of this is face up against SG Esports. Normally, I would say Sacred will have that one in the bag if they were to win this. Again, just based off of, like, pure expected results. Not if they play like this, man. SG Esports are going to stomp the hell out of them. They'll push 2 lanes now. Going for mid with Benjaz for some reason. Everyone else in the Serp. Is Tekka trapped? He has phase boots, right? Yeah, he's fine. Serpent to do quite a bit of damage here. Terrence going to push forward with the repel on himself. Masoku is going to get imprisoned, put under, and kept safe for a little while. 4 for 4 is going to go in a little bit too far. There is True Sight here. Force Staff out on the Sand King with Yule Scepter on him as well. He'll get out. Where is Leo Style? He's going to jump right in. Has the BKB. Has raises only, though. Will thin the creep wave do quite a bit of damage to Terrence. 4-4 going to jump forward with the Burrow Strike. He will overcommit perhaps, but the True Sight actually has retreated. It's on the Tide Hunter. This Imprison, stolen by Matthew, has been doing so much work for him. And he will teleport out. I think he was spotted. Yeah, he was spotted by that Ice Blast, and now he's going to die. There goes the Imprison, leaving the Rubik for dead. He does have the Ethereal Blade. I don't know exactly how much damage that does because I'm not going to do math here, so yeah, that's not happening. But the thing is, it's a kind of it has to be a finisher. Because if you Ethereal Blade someone and then Yules them, then they're no longer Ethereal. So you gotta Yules Requiem and then Ethereal Blade them afterwards. It's a little bit clunky, but the burst damage may catch someone like Slark off guard. He does have a Lincoln Sphere, so I'm not really sure how much he could actually be caught off guard by that. The Yule Scepter, I guess, will block the Lincolns, or pop the Lincolns. Ice Blast will come in, Benjaz. He's going to retreat with Leo Style, and they probably will be okay. The Courier I'm not convinced of, though. Benjaz has a Blink Dagger. Courier, no! Poor Courier. Did deliver that medallion, and everyone and their mom going to drop wards. Up in the Yule Scepter on the Shadow Fiend. Will pop the BKB. Wind up the Requiem. Will reconsider as Masoku is going to be chased down by Terrence. Gets, put under by the Ethereal Blade. And kept alive. Great usage there. First time from the Shadow Fiend. Saving a support is whatever, though. I mean, him dying there isn't going to drastically swing the game. They do have to crowd around their Tidehunter, though. This Bastion of True Sight, oh, well, not going to keep the Rubik safe. He's going to use himself one more time. He doesn't have a blink out of here, though. He's going to telekinesis the Slark, steal Pounce, and Pounce to the south. No freaking way. There's an Omni Knight here. Matthew, you are so boned, my friend. Off to the south, Tekka is chasing after the AA. With the Ethereal Blade, they'll get the kill. Winding up the Ravage, there's no mana. He's 15 mana short. Benyaz needs the mana so quickly, but now he's, oh, so short. Thanks to the Eclipse of the OD. He's chasing after 444, can't quite get him. Has a blink and an Egg Smash that also won't kill. 16 HP. Benyaz can turn around and gush him. Maybe not because there's a Lincoln Sphere. Benyaz is gonna fall. Sacred, I'm not sure what their game plan is at this point, but whatever the hell it is, it's not working, man. Gunning for the AA and ignoring a Slark and OD. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. So far has not paid off for them. The Requiem was also used there. Dude, what are you? What? He's fine, right? He's fine? It's 5-second BKB anyway. It doesn't do that much damage. It's like 2.5 multiplier. 2 multiplier plus times 75. 120, that's about 300 damage. Times 40, that's about 300. Yeah, you're not going to get him killed with that. It won't even save Ahsoka. In fact, it'll kill him faster. What the F is this game? I'm so confused. Terrence is repelled. Oh, Blink Burrow Strike. 444 hasn't even healed yet. They'll just kill everybody. They will lose 444 to a raise. Sand King's gem will be passed over to the OD, but the Raxes are now open. Tier 3 is claimed, and Terrence will just go straight in. Does get Ethereal Bladed, but he's fine because he'll pack that off. Sanity's Eclipse has been stolen, but Rubik doesn't have that much intelligence compared to what an OD can put out. He'll force out to the high ground. Raises will not get the job done. Tech has a Blink Dagger. Can't quite find him. Will go blind and completely whiff. Now going to go for the Omni Knight. The damage from the Ursa is not nearly enough because it's just way too late for an Ursa to be that effective. They will still get the kill. They'll be able to hold the range rack. They lose the tier 3 and melee. Terrence is... I feel like shouldn't have been able to get this many initiations off. I feel like there's a severe lack of True Sight on the Sacred side. He's level 25 at this point, so he's got the Essence Shift to last about 1,000,000 years. And they'll just straight solo kill Tekka. Because, you know, that's how this game has been going today. That's just how this game works. Tekka goes out and does something. The rest of his allies try to reconcile it, and then raise. Wow, that was the entire build of Shadow Fiend. BKB on PGT is just gonna lay into this Shadow Shaman. They will isolate the AA again, but who freaking cares, man? It's an AA. They do have the gem. No, they don't have a gem on the Tidehunter, so they don't know where Terrence is. Burrow Strike lands onto the Tidehunter. Leo Styles going to jump in. Requiem BKB is going to do like 100 damage to someone, and then he'll blink out of there. At least he has the Octarine, so he can get another Requiem in just 40 seconds. That's not bad. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't freaking know. Please just, like, get Benjaz and Anti-Mage. Give King Tekka a Bat Rider, and then everything will fall into place, I promise. This is going to be Roche number 3. This is going to be a Refresher Shard. It is so good on OD and Slark and Omni Knight. It honestly doesn't really matter who picks it up. It's the OD. Wants the cheese, first of all. Looks like it'll be the Omni Knight. He also has the disc. Ooh, I did not catch this one. Pretty sick item to have up against Ursa, honestly. I mean, he's not being really focused down. I'm not sure if... can you get insta-popped through the Aeon Disc? Like, if he was 100 to 0'd by the Shadow Fiend Requiem, will Aeon Disc save him? I'm not actually sure. You have to, like, drop to 80 and then you get hit, right? But if he just drops from, like, 100 to 0, Tekka's going to jump right in. No BKB on him. They'll find 444, and they'll probably be able to kill him. There you go. Sand King down, chasing forward for more. They have a Yule Scepter. They'll lift up the OD. Sand King, though, going to buy out as Shadow Fiend is in a little bit of trouble. Doesn't get his own BKB off. Where's the Ravage? Everyone has BKB, so the Ravage won't even do that much. Tekka now going to get chased out as Terrence the Repel is going to turn on that Shadow Shaman. The Ravage is not being used here. They're all on the full out retreat. Benjas will try to TP out. He will make it. Tekka will not, though. And the Shadow Fiend was forced to buy out. What's going on down here? Matthew will TP out and will survive. But Ravage not
Diana's
being
bottom
committed
shrine
there
is under attack.
for Sacred, and we got Secret Agent Leo style going in after having bought back, and he'll
Diana's
teleport
top
out.
shrine is
Okay, he
under
decides
attack.
against. Probably a good decision, but he's also, he just bought back, and he's right around the corner from a Slark, and he knows about it as well.
Has fallen.
He will have to fall back as well.
I'll take that.
Looks like Matthew is going to imprison a Sand King. Steal a Burrow Strike, maybe? No, that's Sandstorm still. And he has a Yule Scepter still. Unfortunately, isn't able to use it in time. Still 4-4 is sticking around here. He really is feeling cheeky. And for good reason, because he has backup coming in spades. Rubik is going to purge off that Cold Feet, but again, he doesn't have a Blink Dagger. He'll imprison himself. This is where you usually want to come in and ravage and save the day. But it's too late. He's already dead, and it wouldn't have been worth it anyway. This game is looking pretty darn over in favor of T-Show. Like, this Slark has been running around unstoppable. 4-4 has been getting some obnoxious escapes off. And the Ursa, well, he is up with a Ravage. Maybe a 5-man Ravage can do something for him, but again, they're fighting into a Refresh Shard. Masoka's gonna get the Hex off onto 1. Ravage comes in onto 3 and immediately kills off that Sand King, and the Bash is going to PTT. He force-taps himself out, though. Tekka chasing forward with the movement speed, I guess, on the S and Y, but the GA now falls. They don't have any way of purging that off. Shadow Fiend as well gets frozen into place, and with the Eclipse #1, they'll drop pretty much everyone else. Jump back in from Tekka. He is all alone, though. Is going to get just permabashed by Terrence. Double kill. Everyone is dead. That's got to be GG, and it will be just that. Leo Style doesn't want any part of this. We're going to a Game 3. Show.Rising
Has fallen. Radiant
are going to be able to beat Sacred here. Again, kind of getting a free roll, as Sacred have played in a very questionable manner throughout this entire game. I don't know, guys. I have no idea. Well, T-Show, either way, are going to claim victory here. What else is there to say? I mean, Terrence is 17-0-9. I feel like he probably shouldn't have been able to get away with the amount of things that he did initiation-wise. Just definitely not enough sentries. The gems weren't able to stick on the Tidehunter. Other than that, though, it was mostly Sacred. Like, they had so much power in the early game, and they just refused to use it. Because the Ursa was just never playing with the team. Like, someone was making a call there, and it wasn't the right call, I don't feel. By the way, T-Show are going to draw it to a Game 3. Don't go anywhere, guys. Third game... Okay, third game will be coming up soon. Just taking a look at some stuff in the background. I'm Mike Loris. I'll be your caster for that game as well. Hopefully we see Sacred up to scratch, because it has been not the case so far. Guys, I'll be right back for the third game.